Welcome. In this tutorial, I have created this dashboard in Python using plotly dash library. This dashboard has three input components. This is range slider and this is dependent drop-down list. This drop-down list is created in Dash app using chain callback. So by selecting any region from the drop-down list, we can see here in this drop-down list, country names for this drop-down list are updated in this drop-down list. We can select any country name. So if I select this region, I can see here list of countries for this region. This range slider is also connected to this dependent drop-down list by selecting year value. These year values are updated on the combination of line chart and bar chart, and we can also see data for this selected period on pie chart. This scatter map box is also depend on these two inputs. I have created hover effect on this scatter chart. It displays many hover information. So let's view code for this dashboard. First of all, I have added these two CSS style sheets to make this dashboard responsive on any device. We can view. If I decrease the size of this browser, I can see all grids are resized. If I decrease more size, all grids are resized. In mobile view mode, we can also see all grids are resized and we can view easily data on scatter map box. And pie chart and combination of line and bar chart. You can download these two CSS files and code using the below link in the video description. Import dash libraries and pandas for data analysis. I have modified this CSV file. We can view in the Jupyter notebook. This is the main CSV file and we can see this file has 135 columns. I have used list to see list of all columns of this dataset. Then I have selected here list of columns from this dataset. In this cell, I have created new CSV file and I have saved only selected columns in this dataset. In this cell, I have run this dataset. So I have created new CSV file only for these columns. Then I have copied this CSV file from Jupyter Notebook folder and paste in the PyCharm project folder. I have created new data frame which displays the unique list of regions. Then I have given name to Dash app. After that I have created Dash app layout in HTML div. I give ID to main container. We can view properties in this style sheet. Then I have created first row. We can view this is first row. So we can see here I have given in first row title to this dashboard. Then I have created second row. In this second row, I have given class name 12 columns and this class name CSS properties are in this style sheet. In this row, I have created range slider. First of all, I have given title to range slider and then I have added many parameters for this range slider. This is the ID of range slider. The minimum year value in data source is this value and the maximum value is this value. I have placed dots true. These are called dots. Then I have selected default value for this period. We can see here when I refresh the page, the default values are automatically selected on this range slider. After that, I have created marks in string from 1970 to 2017 and the gap is 4. We can view. These are called marks. The gap between two marks is 4. So next move to second row. This row is important and tricky because I have used chain callbacks. This is the layout of second row. First of all, I have created a region drop-down list. We can see here this is the region drop-down list. I have used region data frame because I already have created this region data frame to create list of regions. Then I have created second drop-down list and I have created list for options because I want when I select any region name from this drop-down list, I want to get list of countries for that region in this list. So see here below how to create chain callbacks for this purpose. First of all, I have given output to this drop-down list options. We can see here options and the input is value. This is the first drop-down list and input is this value. Then I have defined function to get countries in this list. I have created here new data frame and using this data frame, that is the name of data frame, I have filtered here region column with this input ID and return here the unique list of countries in this options list because I have already selected IDs of this drop-down list and options. After that, I have selected in this drop-down list default value. For example, when I refresh the page, I can see here the region is South Asia and the list of countries, and I have selected second country name in this drop-down list as a default value. We can understand in this callback. So we can see here output is ID of this drop-down list and value of this drop-down list because I want here in this drop-down list value. Then see here input is the same ID of this drop-down list and options. So I have defined function and I have used ID as key in this argument and I have returned list of values and I have selected second row of the value list. If I type here 0, then we will have first row of the value list. Run this code. So we can see here in this list the first value is this country name and this value is automatically selected in this drop down list and the corresponding data on these three charts. We can also print here this list in the pie chart code editor. Type here only this ID type this print value below the function. So we can see here in this list, first country is this country, this is the second country, and so on. I have selected this country because I have written 0. 0 represents the first row. As a result, we have this country name in the drop down list. Next, I have created in this row combination of bar and line chart and pie chart. We can see data properties for these two charts. First of all, look up on app.callback. This is the ID of combination of line and bar chart and output is figure. I have given three inputs to this combination chart. First is region drop down list, then second input is country drop down list, and third input is range slider. I have used these three IDs as key in this argument. Then I have used here data frame. I have used here group function to get specific columns. Then I have filter here data. For these three inputs, I have used ID of these three inputs in this data frame. Then below in the data section, I have used this data frame and the column. I already have added column in this group by function. Then these are the other properties for this combination chart. I have created here hover information. Then I have created here this data frame using the group by function. I have filtered this data frame using IDs of each input component. I have used here filter data frame and the columns from this data frame, and these are other properties for bar and line chart. I have created here layout for this combination chart. You can see all these properties using the link in the video description. Then I have created here pie chart. I have added three inputs for this pie chart. Then I have created here data frame. Then in the data section, I have added here the name of the data frame to get values on the pie chart. I have created here layout for pie chart. Then I have created last row for this dashboard. So this is the last row. I have given 12 columns to this row. This is scattermapbox chart. I have made dynamic this scattermapbox chart because I have used here three inputs ID, and I have created here data frame. In data section, in longitude parameter, I have used longitude column using this filter data frame and the column from this data frame. Similarly, I have created here marker effects. I have used this column. Then I have resize size of bubbles. Dividing this by value 3, I also have used this column to create different colors for bubbles. I have used here color scales. Then I have created hover effect for this scatter map box chart. Like other two combination and pie charts, this scatter map box is also dynamic. Any changing value in the input components, the values on the scatter map box chart will be changed. Then I have created here layout for scatter map box chart. To display scatter map box chart in the dash app, we need access token. To get access token, we need to create Mapbox account on Mapbox site. This is free, we can create easily and we can get easily this access token from the account. I have choose center for this scatter mapbox map chart using the integer value for latitude and longitude. So that's it. You can copy the code and the codes for these two CSS files and dataset link using the below link in the video description.